You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, keep those champagne bottles on ice because the Astros did not clinch the American League West tonight as they came out and put a big old fat wet stinker on the board to start off the 3-game series against the Seattle Mariners. Hello and welcome tonight to the Locked On Astros Postcast. Appreciate you guys for stopping by on a night that, not necessarily fun at all, because they went ahead and got themselves a loss tonight. Thank you for stopping by. As I mentioned, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. You guys have been great growing this channel, and I absolutely appreciate it. On a night where there's nothing to say that's any good about what happened. The only thing we were going to talk about that's good was Hunter Brown. I mean, it's just bad. Bats did absolutely nothing. They're without Yordan Alvarez now for who knows how long. Hopefully not too long. And sorry, I'm moving things because it looks like everything on my desk got moved around here. They did a big fat nothing tonight. These nights happen, but still, when you got the ability to go out there and win the division tonight, I was expecting them to do it tonight. Go ahead and get it over with. Bryce Miller's been really good this season for the Seattle Mariners. He's pitching in front of his whole family tonight at Minute Maid Park. He's an Aggie. But I believe I need to look at it up real quick. I think the last time that they faced him, they got to him. He pitched at Minute Maid earlier this season. He went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs. He faced the Astros again. I know he faced him again. At least I felt like he faced him again. Maybe I was wrong. I'm sorry, guys. I can't always get my baseball stuff right. I try my hardest. Usually I'm pretty good at it. But for some reason felt like he pitched against the Astros a different time, and it went well. So he pitched well against the Astros twice this year. 7 shutout tonight. Good for him. Also bad for the bats. Bad at bats all over the place. Just not a fun night at all at Minute Maid Park. Hey, tonight's episode, by the way, of the Locked On Astros Postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.com. Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball's rivals, including those Mariners. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. So, I have a real question based off of what we saw at the end of the game. And we've seen it 2 days in a row. I know we did not do a show yesterday. I was going to do a show yesterday. We did the Texans show, and then I had to get somewhere as soon as we finished that show, so we did not do the Astros show. I did not watch the end of the Astros game till later on last night, where the bullpen just fell apart. The bullpen wasn't good today either. Caleb Ferguson stinks. We knew that from the moment that they got him. Still don't understand that trade. Ort got out of his little bit of a mess. King is not good. And Seth Martinez, for a guy that was so good earlier this season, when he gets called back up, he's been hot garbage. What's going to happen here in a week when the Astros are playing in the American League Wildcard Series and they're in a game and they need somebody that's not Neris, Abreu, Presley, or Hader to pitch? What are you going to do? I don't know. I mean, you could, like we've talked about a lot, have a starter in the bullpen at that point. And maybe Ronel Blanco is back out there, and that gives you a guy that can be a relief pitcher but can also give you some length. But I mean it right now. Like, none of those guys, King, Ort, none of them. None of them not. And Neris is still to a different level. You don't trust him the way that you trust. I mean, it's kind of the story of the season. I don't know if I trust any of them this season. I know that a lot of them have rebounded and had good seasons. But they all have their stretches where they've just been I trust Hader. The only thing you don't trust Hader with is the strikeouts. I mean, not the strikeouts, the home runs. He's given up a lot of those this year. But I don't know. There's something from the last couple of days that has stuck out clearly. That the Astros bullpen has been straight dumpster fire. I think is about the only way you can put it. And today they didn't, at least they hit yesterday. Excuse me. Just hit me again. Right in the middle of the show. I haven't been yawning at all, sitting here waiting to do the show. And it's like, as soon as I do the show, here comes the yawns. But, yesterday they fell apart. They lost that baseball game. Today they do it again. The Astros failed to pick up win number 86. They sit now 85-72. Seattle 81-76. So the Astros still holding on to a 4-game lead in the West. One more win will win the American League West. I'd like to think it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm hopeful. That'd be good. Go ahead and see if you can wrap this thing up. Start resting some guys. All kinds of stuff like that. Tomorrow, by the way, they're going to go with Framber Valdez. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you they're going to win the West tomorrow. If not, they'll win it Wednesday with Yusei Kikuchi on the mound against his former team. But tonight was just nothing to write home about. It doesn't even really game-wise, like what happened in the game, there's nothing to even break down. They had 4 hits. They only had 4 opportunities to have runners in scoring position. They went 0 for 4. They left 5 men on base in the game. They didn't strike out a lot. They didn't walk a lot. They just didn't get on base. Altuve, another bad night for him. Tucker, bad night. Bregman, bad night. Yiner, bad night. I mean, he did have a hit at least. Singleton, bad night. That 7th inning where Caratini and Pena, and Singleton, all 3 of them had some opportunity. At least Singleton advanced the runners. Caratini striking out with 1 out, runners on 2nd and 3rd. Terrible. And then Pena. I mean, when it feels like for a guy that won a World Series MVP and was as clutch as it got that year, it feels like anytime there's a regular season clutch moment that's up and he needs to get a hit, he just does not do that. And he puts up awful. Man, that bat he had in the 7th inning. He swung at a sweeper outside the zone, swung at a splitter outside the zone, fouled one off, and then swung through a fastball at 94. It's not good. It's not good. I think that's about the only way you put it. It's not good. It's one of those nights where they didn't look anything like a playoff team at all. Hopefully that changes tomorrow night. And they become a playoff team in the American League. We got a lot more to talk about. Let's talk about the one positive tonight. Let's give some love to the man that pitched. A man that took his season from a straight disaster early in the year and turned it into a great regular season. We'll talk about Hunter Brown here in just a brief moment on the Locked On Astros Postcast. All right, as I told you when we started off, this show is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. You want to go explore U.S. cities that you've always secretly wanted to learn more about? Well, Booking.com is the place to do it. Maybe it's another baseball city. Maybe you want to get into the October action and go see your team play your least favorite team in the postseason. Right now, the Astros are slated to play Detroit in the wild card round, but then they would start on the road in the ALDS. And guess what? You can get on Booking.com and book that trip to go see a postseason game on the road. I'm telling you, great experience. I counted them the other day just to count them up. I think it was I know it's like over 100 postseason games that I've been to, and there's been so many of them on the road And it's just an awesome experience, I'm telling you. Absolutely awesome. I've been to so many in this Astros run. It is worth your time to get out there, and you do that with Booking.com. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rivals. Go to Booking.com, today to book that trip. Go see your Stros on the road. Let's tell you one more quick message before we get back to our Astros discussion on the loss about FanDuel. It's the time of year where you're getting going on games across the board. Hey, NFL fans, you can start this season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $250 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Locked On Astros Postcast tonight. I'm your host, Michael Connor. Thank you for joining us here on the Locked On Sports Houston page. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button when you're there. If you missed our show yesterday talking the Texans beatdown loss, bad last 2 days in Houston sports. Not good. Not good at all. Speaking of the bad of it, Yordan Alvarez is part of the bad of it. Just your quick update here on, we'll flip Hunter Brown and Yordan Alvarez because this just came out from Chandler Rome and Brian McTaggart. And in the post-game press conference for the Astros this evening, Joe Espada said that I'm confusing everything. That Yordan Alvarez has a right knee sprain. He will not play in this series against the Mariners, but they are not shutting the door on Alvarez returning during the regular season. There's no point. Win the division tomorrow night, and then just go ahead and tell him to sit down for the rest of the regular season. He does not even need to. Don't even take him to Cleveland. Leave him in Houston. I'm sure he'd prefer to spend time with his family. But rest that man up, because you cannot live in a world where you don't have Yordan Alvarez out there on a daily basis for this team. Now, this is going to absolutely muck things up a little bit when it comes to how you utilize him and how you work your lineup. I know that Kyle Tucker has told Joe Espada that he's ready to play every day, no problems, and hopefully that's the case. Hopefully that's accurate for him, because playing in the outfield every day is beneficial to the Astros. It can allow the Astros to do what they should do, which is go out there and have Yordan being the designated hitter every day. Because all it takes is one bad slide or whatever it might be, and this is what we're talking about. He's hurt and he's banged up, and now you're going to go into a postseason and he's not going to be a 100%. Your best hitter on your team, and it's without a doubt. Even tell our favorite player hater, David, in the comments section. If he wants to dispute that, he's flat out wrong. Best hitter on the team, one of the 3 or 4 best hitters in all Major League Baseball. You absolutely must have him. Must have him every day. Because if they don't have him come postseason time, they are capable of winning, of course. They're capable of a lot of things. But what they're not capable of is winning consistently if he's not there. But if he is there, then the Astros are as dangerous as anybody. if the scenario comes out that he's not available to them for whatever, this lineup becomes a lot less dangerous looking. And if I was an opposing team, I wouldn't fear the Astros all that much hitting. You always fear them to an extent, but you wouldn't fear them the way that you should because of what he's meant to the lineup. And I've always said it, the presence that he brings, the presence alone that Yordan Alvarez brings to the lineup, and the way that teams will work their best to work around him, to make life difficult on him, to pick and choose their spots. It really dictates how the whole team is pitched to when he's in there. Other guys, when Yordan is in there, are going to see at times better pitches. But if he's not in there, why are you going to pitch to Bregman? Why are you going to pitch to Yiner? Why are you going to pitch to... You can't avoid all of them, but like in certain situations, why would you? You don't. And this always goes back to you're terrified of when Yordan Alvarez takes a step or does anything. I don't live that way. I think that it's silly when it comes to the sports world to be like, oh, you can't ever have him in the outfield. You can't ever do this. You can't ever do that. That's not a problem. You have to play baseball at some point. You're going to get banged up at some point. It's always going to happen. Always going to happen. And, for him, he is a guy that has bulky knees. He's had surgery on both of them since he's been an Astro. And that's okay. Look, you'd rather get the problem fixed than not. And down the road, yes, you're going to eventually only play him at DH all the time. But I don't have a problem right now of playing him in left field. I don't have a problem him going out there running the bases. It's baseball. You got to play. You got to play to win. And they've been playing to win, and they need him to win. So it just stinks. Right now, I think if you were to gauge how a lot of people feel, maybe, you guys tell me in the comments. Are they a World Series contender right now? Of course they are. But are they as lethal today as they were a week ago? Doesn't feel all that great, We'll just have to wait and see. And boy, oh boy, do we all hate the waiting game. The waiting game is the absolute worst thing ever. But again, there's your latest on Yordan. Right knee sprain. Will not play in this series against the Mariners. Astros not shutting the door on him playing in another regular season game this season. And maybe, you go to Cleveland and Saturday or Sunday he's finally feeling okay again and you just want to get him some at-bats. That's fine. But DH only. I don't think you're going to put him back in the field this year. You can't do that to yourself. Let's talk now about Hunter Brown. We didn't talk about him there just a second ago. He has just been Mr. Steady Eddie all season long for this team after a very rough start. How he's changed his career in one season. We'll discuss that when we return to the Locked On Astros Postcast. Right now, though, I want to tell you about Prize Picks. If you've not downloaded the Prize Picks app yet, what are you waiting for? It's the #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. Running out of time on this one, so you better get on it. In the month of September, one Caleb Williams passing yard gets you one win on every Prize Picks, and every week on Prize Picks in this month. That's right, only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Not 4 weeks now because you've waited too long, but that's okay. It's still available. Don't miss the deal. This deal on Prize Picks because it's gone, like I said, when this month is over. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks, your picks are still live. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Sorry, you guys. I was trying to drink my water, and I failed on it during the commercial break there, so hold on. Welcome back to the Locked On Astros Postcast here tonight on a stinky night. A bad, bad night. You don't love it. You don't love it at all. You had the opportunity right there in front of your face to go win the American League West, and it did not happen. The Astros tonight, though, did get one positive outcome, and that was the man on the mound. Talked about him quite a bit. I mean, Hunter Brown, tough luck loser tonight, by the way. Finishes his regular season 11-9. I guess he could technically pitch Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He could pitch Saturday if they needed him to, but why would you pitch him Saturday? If the Astros had the division, wrapped up, and as we know, they're not catching Cleveland for the second best division winners record. Cleveland is in a fight with, they're still trying to fight with the Yankees for the first, but you know what it is. Astros, by the way, at this moment would face the Kansas City Royals in the wild card round because the Detroit Tigers have passed them up in terms, I guess their head-to-head or something has them there. So you could see Kansas City, you could see Detroit. I want to see Detroit. Even if they're hot, I want to see Detroit. I think that's the way to go. But you got to worry about other things. Hunter Brown is one guy that you don't have to worry about. After his brutal start, I saw the tweet from Chandler Rome earlier about it. I'm trying to find it. Hunter Brown, since May 5th, since the 5th of May, his ERA this season was 2.51. Overall ERA on the season now 3.49. He's pitched like a staff ace. There's no other way around it. He has pitched like an ace of the staff. And the good news for him is that he does not have to be the ace of the staff. He's the number two guy now. He's pitched his way into it. But a huge year for his career and his development moving forward, doing what he's done. I expect a lot of the same out of him as this continues. I would expect a lot of the same out of the man that's going to pitch tomorrow night as well. That'll be Framber Valdez. Again, the Astros just have to win. They win, they're division champions. That simple, right? Shouldn't be hard. This team knows how to win. They win all the time. Something about that game when you've got it right in front of you that you only need to win one of them. Sometimes it just ends up being a little bit more difficult maybe than the game that is just like this in the middle of the season. It's hard, man. It's hard to believe the season's over. This is it. 5 games left in the regular season. 5 more of these shows plus at least 2 more. So at least 7 more Astros shows. And then we go on winter break. And it's just Rockets, Texans, and Cougs here on this channel. Speaking of that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You can come back and watch these shows anytime. You don't have to just watch them live, of course. We'll be back live tomorrow night after the Astros take on this Seattle Mariners club again. Hopefully this time they find a way to get a win. Please, 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 please. Let's make that happen. You guys enjoy the rest of your Monday night. I don't know why I'm forgetting what night it is. Because it's time for bed. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow right here on the Locked On Astros Postcast.